gathering around. Jake want to see something going on, so Jake coming around.
I was trying to do it long,
but they didn't really understand, man. You know. And then even the disciples that he had with him, he knew that not all of them was down. Because all it took was for him to say something that was, you know, spiritual, that went over their head, and it was going to offend them. He already knew. Because was that later in that same chapter?
Yeah, you read it?
Yeah, get that.
Okay, verse. I'm gonna start at 61. No, 57. John 6:57. As the living Father has sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. That is the bread, that is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. These things said he in the synagogue, as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, This is a hard saying. Who can hear it? Or who can accept it?
Yep.
When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, does this offend you? What?
Yeah, because he heard them, like, they was probably like going, like, they'll probably like walk away and like, you heard what he said? You heard that shit? You believe that shit? You believe that? You hear what he said? He said what I think he just said? Yeah, I don't know about him, man. Yahushua heard him.
Like when he told him to eat my body and drink my blood.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what niggas do today. Niggas find an excuse to lead a ministry or to go off and want to do their own thing.
Yeah, they find an offense.
Offense, yeah. They, you know, a lot of these jakes, they come into the camp, they're humble, but then they feel like they should be the leader. So then they go off, do their own thing, they change the doctrine, you know, because like you said, they're offended of the doctrine. You know, they find the excuse. They just, what does the scripture say? Find the excuse according to their own will. You know, and that was their excuse in the ancient world to, you know, thinking that Yahushua was talking about cannibalism.
If you were serious about it, what would you say? Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, explain that more, please.
And then they were sincere. They would have went to the law. Well, the law says we're not supposed to,
this, Lord,
you know,
Rabbi.
Yeah.
And if you still don't understand it, your faith will give you the answer in due time. The answer will come in due time, but you gotta have that. You gotta have that faith that you're gonna receive the answer, because that happened to me many a times. I don't understand a certain breakdown or whatever. You know, as time passed, now I get it. Click, right? Sometimes it's just to see if you're gonna let that offend you. Because when we go into the word offend, I think it was scandalizo, right? Scandal and all of that. Basically, things you can't get past, like a stumbling block. You can't get past it. Can't get your mind wrapped around it or over it. You know, to understand it. So, some people take that impediment as, well, I give up. Because they're looking for that excuse.
Remember that, like some years back, some dudes fell out because the apostles were saying that you could worship them.
Oh.
And what a lot of people got offended because they thinking that the apostles were saying, yeah, you're supposed to offer sacrifices to the apostles, you're supposed to pray to the apostles. They thought they meant in that sense. When the word worship just simply means worthyship. To be worthy, like when the scriptures say, let the elders be counted worthy of double honor. That's all they were saying. Reverence. You're supposed to reverence the priests. Scriptures say, revile not the gods. You know. Scriptures talk about obeying your masters. Those that rule over you. You know. So in that sense, you be like, well, I can't get offended at that.
Yeah, Jake watched Kung Fu movies all damn day. Right. You know, because martial arts, you got to have a teacher to teach you, and that disciple, that student, give honor to his teacher.
Yeah,
To his master.
to his sensei.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
man.
But niggas got offended
Yeah.
and left and started their own thing and started switching their doctrine and started waxing worse, and then you don't see them no more. All because they got offended. And the apostles, that just like what Yahushua did with that hard saying, what they said was considered a hard saying, and dudes couldn't take it. I didn't get offended at that when they said that. I was like, man, I wouldn't know this truth if I didn't learn from those men.
Yeah, that's real.
I definitely reverence those men. Come.
They make it seem like we setting up shrines and get pictures and we
Yeah.
sitting there bowing down. Like,
Yeah.
it's respect, man.
crazy.
Them men been out there for as long as they've been doing this to this day, and they not do some kind of respect. Like, come on, man. I got a real quick
They
one.
got offended. You remember them Chicago rejects? Tried and
Fried.
yeah,
Fried, bro.
tried and refried that clown. Remember when he said that? He said it loud. Like, you call anybody your master, you a clown. You a fucking clown. He said it at the top of his lungs, man.
Okay.
But then when you go to the scriptures, you had understudies of prophets that would refer to the prophets as their master. Elisha, he was being called a master by his understudies. So you telling me that they were clowns? It's just that nigga up there in Chicago, who's no longer in the truth, he got offended
Okay.
because it was too hard for him. And every once in a while, the apostles do stuff like that just to see who is who. It's been a filtering process since they've been out there. A lot of dudes get put to the test, getting sifted. You know, it could be a hard saying. The whole grape thing, that just we ain't even gotta talk about that one. A lot of dudes just got super offended at that. You know?
If you have a hard time, respecting and reverencing somebody that's
Watching for your soul.
yeah, somebody that's
Give me Timothy 4.
It's a lucky, and I know the Apostle Paul was thinking he might be a liability because the spirits that Paul had to deal with, they were combating spirits, man. Those heavy spirits, man, demons. So him, Mark being new in the faith and not really up to par of eating strong meat or the understanding of the spirit, he might have been a liability. So you got to take that into account too, man.
That story reminds me of like this is before YouTube and all that. Apostle Tahar, he said, Apostle Rakah said too, that Apostle Tahar used to cuss him out and was hard on him. And he said you got a lazy spirit on you. Apostle Tahar, he had that zeal. Not that it was that, but it reminded me. But look how even Apostle Gabar used to say Apostle Tahar used to be super hard on him. Back in the day. But look at how it led to how both apostles have grown in the spirit. Through Apostle Tahar having that zeal to push them, harder to in the ministry.
Yeah, during their first journey, John Mark, he basically deserted them.
Yep.
He basically left when they was out there doing the work. He was young, so he was just out like it seemed like he didn't want to miss out on the shit in the world.
Yeah.
So Paul was like, yeah, I can't take you. But Barnabas is like, man, let's give him a chance. Nah, man, no. I'm on a journey. Like you see what spirit I'm in. He was on a mission.
It also shows you that was his lot, because the Lord could have just let him go back in the world, but it was remind me of Jonah. Like that was your lot. The Most High, I'm pretty sure John Mark caught hell, for going away from the ministry for that time being. But it was his lot to be a prophet, to the nations. So the Lord brought his ass back. It made him even more on fire.
And we think of let every man be persuaded in his own mind.
Yeah,
for when you
so-
pick that zeal up.
So give me 2 Timothy 4, start at 10, the 10th verse. 2 Timothy 4 and start at 10.
This 2 Timothy 4 verse 10. For Demas hath forsaken me.
So there's another dude who pretty much was, he basically fell out. He went back into the world. He stopped doing the work. Demas, because he loved the world. Go ahead.
For Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world, and is departed unto Thessalonica, Crescens to Galatia, Titus unto Dalmatia.
And it said he departed where? To Thessalonica, right? When you look up the history of that particular city, it was like an entertainment epicenter. You know, it was theaters and musicals. Yeah,
Hollywood.
yeah,
Like nightlife, shit like that.
yeah. There was revelry going on. There was all that there. You know.
It says, only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee.
Hey, you said what?
Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee.
And he's talking about John Mark, the same John Mark that he got into it with over. He got into it with Barnabas about. So obviously, it was something that happened that transpired between that time when he wrote this letter, and the time that dissension happened with him and Barnabas. So obviously, John Mark, I guess the Lord started jacking him up, and he had no choice. Like, yeah. And he got back into it, and he got on fire. The Lord had mercy on him and brought him back. So now he's useful. So now he's like, fuck Demas. He's back in the world. Just bring Mark with me now. He's ready. He's on a level now.
Yeah.
You know.
One thing John Mark didn't do was change the doctrine.
Yeah.
He went on. He was on his own, but he didn't change the doctrine. He didn't change the name or none of that stuff. You see, it happened with a lot of guys that whether they leave GMS, they want to do their own thing, and the whole doctrine just completely changed. And just a little bit, it mess up the whole lump. MOTB, you know, having sex on the Sabbath day. That all these are just doctrines of devils, man, that these guys have on them when they leave. But John Mark didn't do that. He stayed on the
Straight.
he stayed on the straights.
Yeah, because otherwise, if he would have went and started speaking, teaching a whole nother thing, he would have never been allowed to come back around. Yeah, so it's a reason why when dudes get kicked out, when they start falling off or start teaching something else, you got to cut them off completely from the body. Excommunicate them. To have no dealings with them.
What made you go into that, brother? That all the time. You know,
Yeah.
The Vatican is
break that down for me.
the Babylon the Great is the Vatican.
Yeah. Break that down for
You
me.
know,
Yeah.
That's off, bro. And if you rebuke them,
Tribe of Dan is
For the 144,000.
no, but then they say that Private Dan is the
That's what he said.
the
He said
Benjaminites,
that
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
people in, Trinidad.
Trinidad, yeah.
Trinidad.
Tribe of Dan.
But no, the ITR niggas.
Oh,
They was what got them kicked out in the first place was they thought that they got a revelation that the tribe of Dan was a part of 144,000. But when you read Revelation 7, it doesn't mention Dan nowhere.
Yeah, that wouldn't make 144,000.
Right.
It'd be 12 times 13.
Ren and Stimpy down in Mississippi.
Oh,
I forgot what they said. They so many
All
different
type of
bugged out shit. Yeah.
Had another name. brother.
Menthols or something like
Yeah,
that.
the funniest name.
A pack of menthols. Some shit that nigga said. Yeah.
And that King David, the whole thing.
Yeah.
They was all offended over the whole King David being Mashal thing. You know? Those are all the things that they try to find to get offended about.
Austin baked beans.
Yeah.
Everyone can make it.
We
It's
just
all type of stuff in the place.
Put on
Every
grass
once in a
salad.
while, that comes. And if you ain't got good, if you're not on good ground, if you don't have that solid foundation, it's gonna uproot you and bump you up out of here, man. You know, you're gonna get bumped out. That's part of the sifting process. You know, that's why the Lord said, "Blessed is he that is not offended in me." You know.
God is continuing 2 Timothy 4, verse 10. It's like 11. Only Luke is with me. Take Mark and bring him with thee, for he is profitable to me for the ministry.
Yep.
And Tychicus have I sent to Ephesus. The cloak that I left at Troas with Carpus, when thou comest, bring with thee.
Yep.
But especially the parchments.
Yep. Keep going.
Alexander the coppersmith did me much evil. The Lord reward him according to his works.
Yep.
Of whom be thou?
And that was pretty much him basically sending a curse upon him. He did wickedness to me in the ministry. May the Lord get him. May the Lord curse him. You know? Because that's the level of authority that Apostle Paul had, being an apostle. You know, I could bound you to a sin, or I could forgive you of a sin. He forgave John Mark and brought him back into the ministry with him. But the other dude, he sent them off like, yeah, fuck him. He went back into the world. Yeah. And then this nigga, he did me much evil. May the Lord deal with his ass. He could do that. He was given that authority, man. Yahushua is not here. So somebody got to, you know, have that authority on earth while he's in the heavens. Khan. Yeah. He did, all those men that had that authority, Yahushua dealt with them directly. You know?
That's a heavy zeal to be given. That's a heavy responsibility.
Sure.
You know, so they didn't take it lightly. And them being in direct contact with Yahushua, it, you know, they, you know, Apostle Paul wanted John Mark to have that same zeal, you know, and because, you know, we know John Mark wasn't with Yahushua, but he was he got a gospel,
Yeah.
you know.
John Mark, he fell from his first love.
Yeah.
Remember what the message the Lord sent to the church of Ephesus in Revelation? Because thou hast lost your first love, and he started. He rebuked them. You know, you don't want to fall from your own steadfastness. You know, and so hey, we've been in this thing long enough to discern when we can see when you're starting to fall off from your steadfastness. When it's starting to look like you're starting to fall off, we will know. The apostles, they can look at you and can tell. You're like, watch, he ain't gonna watch. I get that brother 3 months tops. He ain't gonna last. And stuff like that didn't happen.